Yo, hello, good morning, good evening, late night vibes. That's right, it's what you guys voted for. I said, do you want Saturday night? You want Sunday night? It's pretty standard. MW2 Ghost, good to see you in the chat, man. Thanks for stopping by. Man, hopefully you were here last night. Got to see some of the good stuff. Certain Death, good to see you. Maddie Kills, man, thanks for coming by. Tim, always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. Sid, thanks for coming. Blazer, BLSSER. I assume that's Blazer. I assume that's Midnight Society Blazer. Variant Blazer. Love to see it. Online Kin Scrub. Good to have you back, man. It's good having you in the MW2 beta streams that we had earlier. Did you read the tweets IW received after posting about the end of the beta? It's a roast fest. No, I have not. I have not seen those. But hey, man, I thought the MW2 beta was a success. Had a lot of fun. I thought they got a lot of good feedback, things that they can address. Hopefully we'll see some of those changes in October. I'm hoping to put a lot of hours into the new Modern Warfare 2. Legend ESQ. Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to see you. Maddie Kills, it's been 13 years since MW2, but Jesus, Robert, you look amazing. Oh, Maddie. Flattery. It will always work. It will always work. Mango Eater, good to see you. Good feedback they will never listen to. we'll see, man. You never know. You never know, man. Certain Dad, thanks for the subscription. I appreciate it. All right, man. So, we got through about an hour of these voicemails last night or the night before last. I don't remember what it was. Um, got quite a few more to get through. For anyone not familiar, I uncovered an answering machine that I set up 13 years ago to collect feedback for Modern Warfare 2. It had just come out, the original Modern Warfare 2. It had just come out. We were getting a lot of feedback online and a few other places, and I'm always looking for ways to diversify how we interacted with our community back then, how we collected feedback, how we connected people to really make sure we were reaching, all the demographics. And one of those ways was setting up a public voicemail that anybody could call. Anybody, any time of day. You just got done with a match. That feedback's fresh in your mind. You pick it up. You call Uncle Bobby here. You give me your feedback. You let me know how you feel. Unfiltered, raw, straight from the source. And people did it. People did it by the thousands. We collected a lot of that feedback. We implemented as much as we could. Obviously, that current iteration of IW imploded around that time. Respawn was formed. A lot of great teams were spun out of that when we lost our fearless leaders, Vince and Jason, and a bunch of the core team at IW. And so a lot of major things never got addressed, right? Then this voicemail gets set up. People flood it with their feedback, information on how we could really perfect Modern Warfare 2. Forgot about the answering machine for 13 years, and now we're back going through the ones that never got heard, listening to them. It's like a time capsule stuck in time. And, let's just listen to it. Let's just listen to it raw, see what they have to say. Mm. Online kids stream. We watched a whole recorded stream yesterday. Oh, thank you. All right, let's get into it. Let's just jump right in. We got a counter here, right here. We got a counter here. We're gonna track how many times people want to fix one man army, remove commando, tweak new tubes, return capture the flag, and of course my favorite, how many times they lose their shit. Honey Bear, good to see you back. All right, let's dive into it. Let's take the first caller. Hear what they have to say.
I was just curious, how is it the militia from Brazil are able to acquire the means or just simply any ordinance such as a paved low an AC-130,
That's
or
a big
even
plane.
a tactical nuke? Just kind of curious. What is a tactical nuke?
It's like a smaller nuke.
I mean,
Pinpoint nuke.
other questions?
Yeah.
Care package. Can an AC-130 fit inside of the care package? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
So how can I get one out of a care package? I don't know. Huh.
Fun.
Yes, I am. I'm going to hang up now. Bye-bye.
All right. I'll see you later. Next caller, you're live. Let's hear it.
Yeah, hey, Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 2 is pretty awesome and all. It's just that I have a problem that there's a lot of boosters, but I've been taking care of them on my own with Ship Rep Pro, and they never seem to quit. So I don't know.
They're fun to hunt,
about
though.
tactical insertions or something, like maybe getting killed after a number of times, not with it by the same person, maybe like you can't use tactical insertion anymore or something, because well, it's getting kind of annoying. Every match, team deathmatch, even domination. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But they're not even doing it free for all anymore, so I don't know what like this thing or something. It's just weird now. So yeah, great. Modern Warfare 2 is a great game, man. Like, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So thanks for the awesome online stuff. Yeah.
Thank you for playing it. I'm sorry people abuse tactical insertion. That sucked.
Hi. I bought Modern Warfare 2 a couple days ago to get my first Xbox, and I got the kind of disc in, and all of a sudden my Xbox exploded. I don't know what the it exploded. I don't know what the hell. It just exploded. And then my screen froze. Up on it. I don't know what to do. And you know what? My mother.
Wait,
And
what?
6 other women. I think there was, like, background. And then I thought, this is Modern Warfare 2, they're all blowing. Shitty fucking game. 2 out of 5 at best. Goodbye.
Little unfair. Little unfair. Legend, you said, how I censor it perfectly. I'm not censoring it live. For the record, I've had these censored and made safe for the stream beforehand. So, because there are certain terms that are used, especially in that last call, that would get the stream banned. So, these have been unedited, except for if people say their names, we take them out. And then if they say terms that could be get the stream banned, then that's been taken out. All right, next caller. Let's see what you got.
I just want to know, how did you guys ever think that Modern Warfare 2 was ever going to work? Like, in all seriousness, this is not me just trying to get at you. This is not me just trying to just bash you. I just want to understand fully how you guys over at Infinity Ward ever thought that getting nuked to by one-man army, Danger Close commandos, and all that noob tube stuff would be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm the type of guy that I don't really care much for video games. I'm the type of guy that has a life besides video games. I do have friends and things like that.
Okay.
But what shocks me and what shocks a lot of other people out there in this world that are exactly like me is how a game like Modern Warfare 2 can piss us off. That is the only game that I've ever played in my history of gaming. And I've been gaming since I was a kid. I love doing it. But Modern Warfare 2 is just like on a different level. That's the type of game that when you play it, you're guaranteed to have a bad mood for the rest of the day, unless you're very lucky not to run into YouTubers and things like that. And why? Why does Infinity Ward only update Modern Warfare 2 when a map pack comes out? You guys never update it with updates such as tweaking one-man army Danger Close, but you would definitely update it when a map pack comes out. I think that Infinity Ward is basically done, and unless you guys show change in Modern Warfare 2, nobody else will buy any more products that come out of Infinity Ward or their new company, the ones that were started by ex-Infinity Ward employees. The company's name now is Respawn Entertainment. Yep. Unless you guys show some changes in Modern Warfare 2, nobody's going to buy the products of Infinity Ward or Respawn Entertainment. Now, when I say nobody, I'm not saying that nobody's going to buy it. But what I'm saying is you'll see a drastic decrease in the amount of sales that you guys have regarding Call of Duty. Modern Warfare 2 has destroyed the Call of Duty community, period. And that's just going to be a very dark stain on Call of Duty in general. And that's what I have to say. I hope you actually do hear this and actually do take into consideration about how many people you are personally responsible for pissing off. I'm not just saying you, I'm saying Infinity Ward in general. All of you are personally responsible for pissing off so many people. And you're also responsible for more than likely way over millions of dollars in damages to controls, PS3s, game discs, game cases, and other game accessories such as Turtle Beach headsets, even laptop computers, because these are the things that people break out of rage when playing Modern Warfare 2. The game just makes people turn into the Hawk, and it's not pretty anymore. Something needs to be done now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. That escalated very quickly. I just want to... All right, next caller. Be more positive.
Oh my God, you you're so oh my God, your game face balls. Danger close, Jeers and NoobTubers, oh my God, you're a piece of oh, you're terrible game. Peace out.
All right.
Robert Bowling, if you ever want to see your Tweety Bird again, put $20 in the Trash Cannon production.
I remember that. That was Chris Lay. He was in our IT department at Infinity Ward, and he had stole stuff off of my desk and would hold it hostage until I paid ransom money around the office. That one in particular was I had Twitter had sent me a physical tweet bird that was sitting on my desk that they would steal. I'm pretty sure I paid that ransom because I got it back.
Yes, about your game, Modern Warfare 2, it sucks. You need to go to hell yourself for making it. You guys are the designers ever.
Thanks for calling.
Okay, first of all, I want to know how you guys make a game so good in COD 4, and you have 2 years to improve it, and then somehow in those 2 years, you up. What the with you guys? Bye.
Hi, Infinity Ward.
Hey.
I just wanted to say that you guys suck at designing games. You fail. Modern Warfare 2 is one of the most broken games I have ever played.
Ever.
With Commando, the spawns, the chopper gunner, the nukes, the 10 hobbies, and the worst of all, Noob Tooth, Robert Bowen, you are an idiot.
Me?
Call of Duty 4 was good, and I can't wait till Black Ops this Tuesday, because no one will play Modern Warfare 2 ever again, because Infinity Ward sucks at making games. Thanks.
Thank you. Little does he know. I bet you he has already pre-ordered the next Modern Warfare 2. Guaranteed. I put my money on it. All right, next call.
Hey, can you help me fix my Halo 3 thing? Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Wrong department. Next caller.
Hey, Robert Bowling.
Yep.
Hi.
Hey.
It's Modern Warfare 2. Okay, man.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be blunt. You hardcore. Like, I appreciate that. Actually, no, I don't. That's pretty like, why? Like, you had a good game. How can you that? Like, I didn't get that. That doesn't make sense to me.
Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going all right. You know, a lot of negativity tonight, but I think we can turn it around. What do you got to say?
What?
Nothing.
Why then there's the noob tubes in there when you can shoot the noob tubes all the way across the room and it still kills you? Why there be noob tubes in Modern Warfare 2? Why do you shoot with the intervention so far and I get the shoot to him in the chest and I get the hit mark and you have Star and FMJ on there and I still don't kill him and then I throw a grenade on him and somebody else kills him. What the heck?
Yeah, I agree.
Hello?
Hey.
Who is this?
Who is this? You called me.
Bye.
See ya.
Yes, I was wondering if you guys could make the map packs not $15 because that's really a giant freaking ripoff. And also like a Battletoads game because Battletoads is the source of all happiness, and it would be a great adaptation for the Xbox.
I got good news for you.
Yeah, so no, dude, I'm not. Shut up. Anyways. Shut up, listen. God dang it, now my message is all messed.
Yeah, it was going good.
Hey, what's up, Robert Bowling? I
Hey.
love all your video games, Call of Duty, and all that stuff. Saying one day we should, I'm kidding. Hell you call it? You guys should make a game with Rockstar.
That'd be amazing.
Possible.
If you see Joel
Probably
Esparro, tell him I said hi.
That was my little brother. He said, if you see Joel Esparro, I said hi, because the
Hey,
glasses
Joel,
in the
do you
video
see
game
this?
freaking
Those
awesome,
two
except
kids are
COD 2, which sucks big ass.
Tell him I agree with you. The glass is actually really good.
Yeah.
Battlefield Bad Company 2, the glasses, I don't like it. But yeah, the game's awesome. I love Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah. And just tell you guys, Bad Company 2 is better. Kidding. Alright. Thank you, Robert Bowling, for making great games, and yeah. Don't put this on your blog or I'll kill you.
No.
I'm kidding, I swear to God, I'm kidding. Bye.
Well, I've got some news for you. It didn't go on my blog.
I was calling to say that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is awesome. However, I do think that World at War stood out a bit more. The only reason why is because Jug was taken out, aka Juggernaut. Juggernaut's it's a big advantage, and it's a great combatant to stopping power. I don't know why you guys took that out. I do consider myself a pro gamer. I compete on a lot of sites, and I do think that's a big reason. Also, I do think that you guys should add a MLG playlist, maybe, to
that would be rad.
The game itself. I think that would help a lot. I know I've pretty much grown out of playing pubs. I mean, you can't walk into a pub without getting YouTubed or whatever else kind of that they got going on, shotgun, dual pistols, and after a while, it just gets kind of redundant. So I mostly play private matches and compete. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. This is that's BDRR. Thank you. Signing out.
Good feedback. MLB playlist would have been.
All right, I think this game would be perfect if 4 major changes were made.
Let me hear.
Number 1, noob tubes and RPGs need to become a first perk.
On the board.
This way they won't be abused because it'll be in the same class as one-man army and scavenger, so people won't be able to shoot unlimited noob tubes throughout a whole match. Number 2, rockets and stingers should become a primary weapon. This way, if you won't earn a 11 kill streak, and it won't be instantly shot down by people running around the whole match with stingers on their backs. Number 3, commando should be in the same perk class as lightweight and marathon. This way, people can't use all 3 at once, and they won't abuse knives for a whole game. And the 4th complaint is shotguns. Shotguns obviously should be a primary weapon like Call of Duty 4. All right, thanks for listening.
Thank you for calling. Saw a question in chat. Legend, you said, what was the insight behind the new tube? Was it a decision to make the game more accessible for newer players? I think Modern Warfare 2 had a lot of that push towards accessibility, right? It's like, how can you make the game more conducive to a wider audience and not just that top percent, right? I can tell you that, I remember the moment that we added the M203s into the game, I remember that first playtest we had where it was introduced, and the entire pacing of the game from that point on just changed. And I remember when they first went in, just like what happened in the public, everybody was using them in the playtest. And normally the trick you do if something's overpowered when you're in the early days and you're playtesting it is everybody will abuse it. And they abuse it so much that people get sick of it, right? In the playtest, in the internal playtest. And so it either gets nerfed or removed or tweaked. And Modern Warfare 2 was this crazy scenario where that happened, right? Like M203s were introduced in the playtest. Everybody abused them. It was crazy. But it was so fun to get kills with them that instead of nerfing them or removing them, it was decided, well, what if instead of nerfing them or removing them, we just created other things that were equally as powerful, right? So, like, you can do two things when something's OP. You can sort of do a reduction, or you can do an escalation around it. And exactly, an arms race. And in Modern Warfare 2, there was an escalation of everything, right? Like, kill streaks got more powerful, perks got more powerful, weapons got more powerful, secondaries got more powerful, right? Shotguns removed the secondary. And this, like, just crazy, like, pacing and damage and, like, increase of just the bombastic nature of everything just kept getting pushed up and up and up. And that is a lot of reasons that Modern Warfare 2 is just so insane, right? And like, I think it's a double-edged sword because, like, there are moments that Modern Warfare 2 just is killer. It is just incredible experience. And then and then there are times where you get the exact opposite of that, right? When you get in those matches with the shitty, like, people are only using knife or only using noob tubes or, like, whatever, right? When you get into that side of it, the double-edged sword, then it's just an awful experience. And then you really have to look at it as, like, man, like, how, like, what is that, right? Like, because if so many people are abusing a feature, they're having fun, right? At the expense of everybody else. And it's like this constant teeter-totter of, like, who's right and who's wrong, right? One person's having fun, the other person's not. And, like, I feel like that's what Modern Warfare 2 was for so long, is, like, chasing that high. All right, next caller. Let's see.
Yeah, I was wondering if, like, some map ideas, I guess.
Yeah.
The U.S. Capitol building, a museum,
that'd be rad.
A military base, which would just kick ass,
Crazy.
and a multi-layered bridge. That'd be pretty sweet. All right, bye.
We've done those, right? I know the multi-layer bridge happened. Museum we had in the credit sequence. Hey, good news, caller. New Modern Warfare 2. One of the best maps in the beta was basically the Getty Museum. And guess what? You're right. It's incredible. So you called that one.
What's up, Infinity Ward? Well, I called you to say what I think about your game. You know, it's alright and shit, but something I'm really pissed off about, you know, is getting hit markers with a damn intervention. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's put two and two together. Intervention bullet, FMJ, stopping Power Pro.
Okay.
You're gonna rip somebody in half, right? I mean, that's what anybody else would think. But no, on your game, it's getting hit markers. And I'd really appreciate it, alright, if you know, kind of do something about that. Other than that, your game's just shit. By the way, my friend Tony says that he kind of sucks, so, yeah. You just like that. Take it easy on Tony. Alright, later.
Alright, sorry, Tony.
Hello, I left a message earlier. You probably don't know if I left, like, what number or whatever. It doesn't matter. I forgot some stuff. I forgot the commando perk should... It's ridiculous. There are times when I'm shooting 4 to 5 bursts of an M16 or FMAS, or shooting somebody with, like, 8 bullets, and while they're lunging at me, or probably not that many bullets, but like enough to kill somebody, clearly, with stopping power, and while they're lunging at me, and they just don't die, and they knife me, and I'm a search and destroy player, and that is very aggravating, and it's not fair. It's not. And then lightweight is a problem because it's faster than bullets, and I can probably get a video to prove this. I would try and post one on YouTube, but basically you can run faster than bullets can shoot if you use lightweight, which is, in effect, worse than Juggernaut was in COD 4, because at least you could hit somebody in COD 4 with Juggernaut. So, also, I think that the snipers are terrible. I have stopped sniping because it's much more effective to use an assault rifle than to shoot somebody with 3 bullets with an intervention without stopping power and possibly not kill them. That makes no sense, because isn't an intervention an anti-material rifle? A Beretta 50 cal isn't even supposed to use on people, and it still doesn't kill people in one hit all the time. And the M21, EBR, and the WA-2000 both suck, so I just don't use those.
Battlefield 3 is going to own your butt. COD has no chance. COD is going to die, and you know it. So just suck up and give all your money to Battlefield and EA. They're going to own you. Graphics are so much better than crap COD. Suck it. I402.
Hey.
I'm sorry for that message I left before.
It's okay.
I get kind of excited over video games. I still believe Battlefield 3 is a better game, but a lot of people like Modern Warfare 3, so I'm sorry for that. But I'm probably going to buy both, but I just like Battlefield better. My opinion. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Your opinion. I'll let David know.
Yes, Infinity Ward Studios.
Yes.
I was playing Modern Warfare 2, and I was very displeased with all the noob tubes and one-man army, and I would like you to make a playlist with no perks. You know, like an MOG playlist. Talk to game battlers and see what you can do with them. You know, I just want you to help the community out and help me out. Because, you know, you need to support Mississippi down here, because we're gamers. I'm telling you, man, we're gamers. We need it.
I love that guy. I love it. Loved everything about that call.
What's up, fellas? My name is Jermaine. Gamer tag B. Never really done nothing like this before, but
first time
figured it was worth a shot. It was just a phone call. But I've been a Call of Duty player for a while. Love Modern Warfare too. Got like a lot of hours on it, but I like playing hardcore.
Me too.
I was just wondering why isn't there any pop-ups in the hardcore mode? Because when I play regular team deathmatch, I love seeing just rescue Avenger, double kill, triple kill.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing it pop up, you know. Let me know I'm making some progress towards any of those challenges I'm trying to complete. I just wanted to know why were they taken out of the hardcore mode? Just a thought, man.
Keep the HUD clean.
Are y'all listening to this?
Yes. A little late.
Send me a little patch or something. I don't know. I think I'm just addicted to that shit.
Why did you bring noob tubes back? Why? I hate you. You just have to ruin the game. Aimbots. You should have released the beta before you sent the game out. It sucks now.
Can we listen to that one back? There's something melodic about that dude's voice. Was it here?
Why did you bring noob tubes back? Why?
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Why did you bring noob tubes back? Why?
Wow, man, we need like a soft, gentle. Yeah, we need an auto-tune. We need We need a soft, gentle guitar. Wait, let me do a little something. Let me do. Wait, a little something like this.
Why did you bring noob tubes back? Why? I hate you. You just have to ruin the game. Aimbots. You should have released the beta before you sent the game out. It sucks now. Why did you bring noob tubes back? Why? I hate you. You just have to ruin the game. Aimbots. You should release the beta before you send the game out. It sucks now.
Oh. Why? All right. Next caller. Be better than that
Hey,
guy.
Robert Bowling. Just loving the new bare bones. With
Yeah, I
all the
love
bullcrap
it
that was going around in Modern Warfare 2. Taking the kill streaks off was a good idea.
Thank you.
And loving Resurgence, too. Very good maps, and thanks for releasing these. Alright.
Best call of the night. Right there. Mark it down. Best call of the night. Nice, sweet, wholesome. No complaints.
Hey, for Infinity Ward, man, Modern Warfare 2, great game to start off, but a few things, in my opinion, need to be fixed. Like, I don't know, there's this thing going around, quick scoping, where people aren't really using the sniper rifle as it's meant to be, and it's like, it's a little weird. You know, dead accurate, you just zoom in for a second, but that's one thing. But, like, one thing you guys should definitely do, instead of a map pack, have a gun pack. Like, have a DLC where we can buy guns from either that are completely new or bring back old guns from Call of Duty 4. I think it'd be really cool. I would totally pay $15 for that. Just pointing that out there. I think a gun pack would be a really cool idea. Thanks, Infinity Ward. Bye.
Thank you. Well, you know, I find the ironic thing on a lot of these calls is people hated paying for maps but wanted to pay for everything else. And that is exactly where the industry ended up going. Maps are free for everybody. Everything else costs money. Honestly, it's probably better, right? You don't split the player base. You get a diversity of stuff in the map. Everything went to cosmetics only. As long as they're not selling guns that give you an advantage, not a bad idea.
I think Modern Warfare 2 could be a whole hell of a lot better than it is. Take off Painkiller and Last Stand, because that shit is in Real War, are you going to Modern Dom 2, if you're going to, in Real War, are you going to pull a pin on a grenade before you die? Final Stand and Last Stand, those are the stupid things. You will get shot the shit if you fall on the ground in real life. Take Tactical Nuke out, too, because that's some bullshit. You're not going to drop a nuke and kill yourself and your teammates in real-life war. That's just Hope you get this message, Mr. Bowling.
I got it.
I'm not sure what else to say. I'll call you back.
All right. I can't wait to hear from you. Sleeping Monkey, thanks for the subscription. I appreciate it.
Hi. What are you working on in your future projects? Maybe Modern Warfare 3 or anything? Thanks.
You're welcome. Well, I know it's a little late, but yes, we were working on Modern Warfare 3. We shipped it. It did pretty good. I left. I'm now working on Dead Drop. They're now making, surprise, Modern Warfare 2 again. I think it's going to be great. I wonder what you're doing right now. I hope you play it and love it because it has no command.
Take away grenade launchers
Okay.
and the player cap on private matches. You heard me.
Yeah, I'm just calling to voice my concerns about the $15 map pack charges you guys are charging for MW2. Every time you put out the maps, let's try to get that waived, huh?
All right, let's see what I can do. And if I can't get it waived, I'll quit. How about that?
Nazi zombies that are also robots. Peace. Share this. Where the PC gamers playlist at? How come we get treated like shit and the console gamers get treated better than we do? What the all the hackers do something about the bullshit. We're sick of it. I'll keep calling, leaving these dumbass messages as much as I want to. Do something about it. Fix this shit.
Robert, your game is
fix it. You need to nerf Commando. You need to, like, I don't even know. Let me think here. The boosting problem, that has to be gone.
Yep.
Yeah, fix it. Damn.
Oh, and make sure that you have a beta next time, and fix the campers, and like a better map design. All right, bye.
Got it. Let me write that one down. Better map design. Got it. The beta thing, man, listen, if only you knew what I was doing right now. I think getting people in playing stuff as early as possible, identifying the weaknesses when there's time to actually address it before the game comes out, is how every single game should be made from now into the future. So you got my vote.
Hello, Robert Bowling.
Hello.
I'm just here to tell you, God, what the frick is wrong with this game? No, I'm not mad at you. I'm just mad at the players who abuse the creative things that you have implemented in the game.
Yeah, it's them.
The way they use it is, I think some of the stuff that you put in the game is really creative, but they're abusing it wrong, which leads you to fault.
That's on me.
I'm sure these are just the main things. Noob tubes, one-man army, danger close, noob tubes, commando,
noob tubes, got it.
boosting. I don't have a really problem with that. I don't really care if they end the game with the nuke. I don't really care about it. Anyways, noob tubes, commando,
got it.
lag. I can't even think of any shit right now.
You're hitting the key notes.
M9 with silencer makes a red dot, makes a red dot on the enemy radar. But that's in general with weapons that have silencers, make red dots, aimbots, whole bunch of other crap. I'm sure you already know, but I'm just mainly here to tell you that it's not your fault, but it's the player's fault too. Yeah, some of it is your fault because you're not taking the time to fix the game, which is why a lot of people have quit it. Myself, I really can't play a game without having all that crap I just mentioned. And I don't know why the PS3 is getting or PlayStation and PC are getting the map packs and updates and a whole bunch of other crap a month later than Xbox. I hope Bare Bones is a success. But yeah, kill streaks. Yeah, those are sometimes overpowered. Gets so annoying. Yeah. Last Stand. Can't forget that.
Don't ever forget
God, no one used it in Call of Duty 4, World at War. Now all of a sudden, people are using it.
It's everywhere.
Same with Danger Close. No one ever used it in World at War or Call of Duty 4. Hardly anyone did. I don't know what the heck you were thinking when you brought it back in. I mean, it's a creative idea, but I don't think anyone would have used it until now. I don't know why, but whatever. I'm sure you heard enough messages. Hopefully this is your real number.
It was.
Free of charge today. Good. Free of charge today. Free. You like one, take it. Yep. Great game. Only thing I wish you guys would really fix is the leaderboards. You can tell who's modding. Get rid of them. Clean up the leaderboards for us true players.
Clean them up.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get rid of Commando. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Say, bro, love Call of Duty. Think it's a great game.
Thank you.
Campaign was a sham. You know, I know that wasn't you guys making, or if it
was.
was, but please, can you guys address the glitchers, the hackers? I mean, to be honest, come on, guys. What's the use? If you give a guy a level playing field, it's a whole nother story. But come on, guys. what's the deal with setting up a team, you know, to battle these guys. I mean, I've been invited and jumped into one of these hacker rooms unknowingly and seeing what these guys can do. And I mean, it's scary to know that you're playing against someone like that who has total control over a game that we fawn over, that we buy all the map packs, the DLC content, all of that. It's $1 billion game. It should be handled better. I expect more from a juggernaut in the industry. I really feel like this problem wouldn't have happened with EA. If it was EA's Modern Warfare and the glitches and hackers was running amok like they was, I feel like it really would have been addressed at a timely need. But that Bobby Kotick, death to that bastard.
Oh, Jesus. Call went off the rails there at the end. But, man, you know, with hacks, like, still combating them to this day. Literal arms race. Sleepy Monkey says, did you ever meet Bobby? Yes, of course I have. I've met Bobby many, many times. Literal arms race. And the problem with hacks and cheaters now, like back then when people J-tagged Xboxes and found out how to mod them, right? Like it kicked off this arms race between Microsoft and developers and the hackers. And like that was just annoying, right? Because that was just like people who, you know, were hacking for the challenge of hacking. And there was like not really any malicious intent behind it. And now, like hacks and cheats in popular first-person shooters game is an entire industry. Like they make a killing. And you know the fastest way to get rid of hacking in games is to stop fucking buying the cheats. Stop supporting the makers of them. Stop buying the hacks. Stop buying the aimbots. Stop buying the things that ruin first-person shooter games. Because, hey, I hate to tell you something. Games are supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a good time, right? We play them to relax. We play them to escape, you know, things that are stressing us out in real life. We're just here to have a good time. We make them to have a good time. You join them to have a good time. So stop ruining that good time for people. Stop buying hacks. Stop buying mods. Stop buying, you know, things that ruin the experience just because you want to appear that you are better at the game. And we'll keep finding ways to get rid of the hacks, and we'll keep finding ways to get ahead of them. But every time we find a fix and we fix an exploit and we fix an update, they, because it is literally their business, they are making money from the people buying these aimbots and buying these hacks and buying these exploits, is they have a financial incentive to continue to beat us. So the only way this ever truly stops, right? And the amount of money that gets poured into anti-cheat systems now is insane. We have to spend so much time and so much money on the development side that we used to never have to spend to combat this ever-growing problem because it is an entire industry now. So, like, let's get better as a gaming community and stop supporting these ridiculous industries that ruin the things that we enjoy. It's a pain in the ass. But that's not realistically going to happen. People are still going to want that little moment of fame where they look like they're really good at the game when they're not. And so we're going to continue to pour money into anti-cheat and finding new and better ways to get around it and to ban these people and to get them out of our communities. But it's frustrating, man. That, like, the JTAG modding of the Xbox, I feel like was a turning point in the industry that things got real shitty really quick. And Modern Warfare 2 just happened to be the biggest thing on the market at the time, so we got like most of the attention of the people building those exploits.
Hey, my name is Sean. I'm a big fan of your guys' games. I think you guys have done some great stuff, but I have one request for whatever you guys are doing next. Please don't make the script for the game like some kind of script for G.I. Joe, like some G.I. Joe movie or something.
Okay.
Sorry, I just finished Modern Warfare 2, and the entire time I just kept thinking, you know what, this sounds like a script for a G.I. Joe movie. Just saying. If you guys are going to do like the realistic, like military shooter thing, just make it like realistic and not some dumb action movie, please.
All right.
I don't know. That's my 2 cents. So, yeah, keep up the good work. Hope you guys manage to pull through this whole dumb publisher shit. All right, yeah, bye.
Thank you. That's good feedback. Well, I think Call of Duty never was trying to be realistic, right? Like, the saying that we used to always say was, like, our job was to be authentic, but not realistic, right? Like, we very much embrace the arcadey, bombastic, action movie experience. Where I feel like things like, some of the later Medal of Honors and stuff, they really tried to embrace more of the realism. And then, of course, you go over to, like, tac shooters, right? Like Armas and stuff that were, like, really trying to embrace, like, the gunplay of realism and all of that stuff. But for us, it was all about, like, what is going to be the most fun possible when it came to, like, story and stuff. And I love our campaigns, right? I love Steve Fukuda and Steve Mackey and the guys who were responsible for, like, really making those campaigns feel as big and action movie as possible. I actually enjoyed that stuff, but it's good feedback. Not everybody's into that. Some people want very grounded, realistic, whatever. And I feel like that's what Tom Clancy used to be. Not anymore, right? now that rest in peace, Tom Clancy is gone, and Ubisoft is doing whatever they want with the name. But I feel like before, like, that's what I always really liked about Tom Clancy games was, like, they were the ones who were like, hey, we're sort of going to be, like, looking at the inner workings of the CIA and the FBI and the military and, like, all of this stuff. Sorry, just reading chat. Sleepy Monkey says, I play the campaign before multiplayer every year. Yeah. And you know what I really appreciate that Infinity Ward's doing this year is they're releasing the campaign early. Because the hardest thing to do is to just sit and enjoy the campaign when you know that everybody else is ranking up in multiplayer. So I love whoever made that decision at Infinity Ward. Great job. Genius, right? Give us a couple weeks to play through the campaign before we get distracted by multiplayer. Because once we load up multiplayer, we're not going to stop, right? Because there's XP to be had. And, like, allowing us to release it. Pirates the Master says, Mark Rubin from Infinity Ward works at Ubisoft now. That's true. He is working on what used to be Tom Clancy's X-Defiant. They dropped the Tom Clancy name because X-Defiant has literally nothing to do with Tom Clancy, which I think was a smart decision. And now they're just focused on making X-Defiant its own IP. I think Ruben's killing it over there. Like, I've played X-Defiant in the early play test. It's fantastic. Feels a lot like COD 4. Feels a lot like Modern Warfare 2. But without all the stuff people are complaining about. So I actually think X-Defiant is going to be a really cool game. I just hope that the audience, they find the audience. Because I think if they can find the audience and get the player count, and, like, it's easy to get into games and play, that X-Defiant can do really, really good. I don't know what their monetization strategy is with that game. Hopefully it doesn't get mucked up over there, but I trust Ruben. He's a smart guy. I love Ruben. All right. Where are we at? Next caller. You're live. Let's hear it.
Hello, this I played Modern Warfare 1 like crazy.
Yeah.
But with Modern Warfare 2, I felt that it didn't capture the essence of Modern Warfare 1. Modern Warfare 1 was just great. It had a great storyline, great gameplay, and, the multiplayer was just crazy. Like, and the good thing, the best thing about the multiplayer was it was kind of hardcore. It was, it rewarded you for playing it more. And, it didn't have no turrets, it wasn't, you got killed a whole bunch of times. It wasn't where you could just camp anywhere. The maps wasn't too big. See, now that's the good thing about Medal of Honor that's coming out, they going with the small maps. That's what Modern Warfare 2 should have been,
Okay.
I love Modern Warfare 1, but when I bought Modern Warfare 2, I was highly disappointed. So that's just it. If you correct that for Modern Warfare 3 or whatever, and in future Call of Duty games, make the map smaller, get rid of the turrets, and You know, just reward players for playing, not for getting killed. You know, no more camping, because I don't want to have to run all the way to the other side of the map just to find somebody and see them in the bushes and stuff. Come on now. But anyway, have a nice day. Leave it up. Bye-bye.
All right. See you later.
Yeah.
Yep. Next
I
comment.
would like you to fix the M9 silence because it's my favorite pistol, and it shows up as a red dot. Please. Bye.
Bye. Next caller, you're live.
If you could take off those perks and them attachments for the bare bones, that would be great. Thanks.
True bare bones. I was always for that, man. Bare bones, biggest
a
advocate
playlist
for it.
that you could vote on whether if you can use kill streaks, grenade launchers, and stuff like that.
No joke. I honestly think that is one of the best ideals. It's essentially like, let's re-listen to that.
A playlist that you could vote on whether if you can use kill streaks, grenade launchers, and stuff like that.
That is fucking genius. Like, literally, it's like a public-private match, right? Because the big decisions of the multiplayer design team is always afraid of, like, it's a lose-lose situation for them a lot of times, right? Because if you look at the numbers, and there's a lot of people using something that is considered OP, and then there's a lot of people complaining about that stuff being OP, a lot of that time, that's 50-50, right? So if you nerf the thing or you take it out, you're pissing off the millions of people who used it and had fun with it, right? And then you're making happy the other side. And vice versa, if you do the opposite decision. So for the multiplayer design teams, it always feels like a lose-lose situation. It's like, I'm always pissing off 50% of my player base, right? But what he's suggesting is that in the lobby, when you're voting for, like you vote maps, if you could vote of like, hey, the 8 people, the 18 people who are going to join this match, we're all going to decide that in this game, we're not using kill streaks or we're not using perks. You're basically exposing the private match settings to them in a public lobby, which I think is genius because you're guaranteeing almost that the people in that lobby are mutually agreeing, like, oh, hey, this is the type of experience we want to have for this next game. And that is genius, right? Is like giving a lobby control over that. And if you did something like that, if you gave the lobby control over the experience, because you already have all those toggles, right? We've already done the work by adding them in the private match. Exposing them into a public lobby without dividing the player base, right? Because everybody's still choosing their playlist that they're dropping into. And then once they're in the lobby, deciding which features to turn on and off. I hope this kid is a designer today. If you heard this and that's you, I would love to know what you're doing right now because that is a genius idea. And if you did a feature like that, it would almost be essential not to disband lobbies. Because imagine like if you found a group of guys and girls who are playing that night that all sort of meshed in the type of experience that they wanted, right? They all just universally decided like, no, we don't want M203s. We don't want perks. We don't whatever they decide that they do and do not want. And then that lobby just stayed together for 8 hours that night. Oh, that would be a beautiful thing. Best ideal we've received in all of these voicemails by far. I think it solves so many problems without pissing off 50% of the user base. So great job, kid.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is the biggest disease that I've ever came across in my life. It destroys the Call of Duty community with the lack of dedicated service support, and I've never been so disappointed in my life. The weapon learning curve is 5 to 10 seconds. Every gun is the freaking same. I can shoot all of them the same. I can kill everyone with the same gun. There's no learning curve. You don't have to learn any of the weapons individually at all. GG.
Yeah, that didn't sound like sincere GG.
I think you guys should fix the silencers on the M9, the M240, and the MG4. I want to use the silencers on them.
Legit.
And there should be a kill streak counter to let you know what kill streak you're on.
I like
and that's just a couple of ideas. Thanks, bye.
2 killer ideas.
Hey, I'm a gamer of Modern Warfare 2, and I just want to thank you for such an awesome game. Thanks, guys. Keep it up.
Ended it on a great one. Look at that. Just over the 1 hour mark. The last of the voicemails. Now we have more. There are more in that voice box. I've gone through a few of them. I don't know, it's a lot it's a lot more of the same, right? I don't know if we're going to get a lot more diversity. But man, it's been interesting, right? Like my favorite part of this is like listening to the stuff, knowing like now, we're 13 years in the future, we have hindsight. We know what got fixed, what never got fixed. I don't know if the true stories behind why what didn't get fixed. But I would love to tell those stories. Just don't know the medium, right? Like what's the right? Is that a book? Do you write a book about the rise and fall of it all? The rise and fall and re-rise, right? Because I think they're in a, like if you wrote this book a couple of years ago, it would have been I feel like the rise and fall of Call of Duty. But now, like, I feel like they're back on an upswing, right? Like, they've got killer designers. They've got a killer dev team back at Infinity Ward. A lot of the, the best of the best from the original team are back working on this Modern Warfare. Some of the guys who never left, who just continue to grow and amass power, are really good. And so, like, I think there's hope. I think there's still hope for the Infinity Ward side of that franchise. Which I'm excited to see, right? Because in my heart of hearts, I love that franchise to its core. That's why I'm so emotional about it. It's why I'm so passionate about it. It's why when I think they're not doing something right, I get very vocal. And then also when I think they're doing something really good, I'm equally as vocal. That's just the way I am. And I think they have a really good time, right? And I guarantee you, like last night, I don't know if they're in here tonight, but last night I saw some of the IW guys, the current IW guys in the chat, on the stream, listening to these voicemails. I can guarantee you they agree with every single one of these complaints. And I guarantee you they're thinking about it in the right way. And, if we look at Modern Warfare 2, there were none of that sort of exploitative bullshit in it, right? There were things to tweak based on your preference, right? Like we know the things like red dot showing up on mini-maps when people shoot, and the TTK being balanced. So there are things to definitely address based on where you're sort of catering to with the new Modern Warfare 2. But overall, I think it was a killer experience. And it's just amazing to see how far that we've come in the last 13 years, right? Like when I left Infinity Ward back in 2012, right? Like after we had shipped Modern Warfare 3 and did some DLC, I would have never imagined that we would be back and there would be a new reboot of Modern Warfare. Insane. But incredible. But, looking at the last total, I don't know how accurate this is, but 18 one-man army, 21 commandos, 29 noob tubes, 7 requested capture. We didn't get any capture the flag requests this time. You know what? We probably had added it back in by this point, because a lot of these voicemails were the later ones, right? Like yesterday we started with a lot of the early 2009s, or late 2009s, early 2010s. And I think a lot of the voicemails from this one were starting to push into like, I think a lot of these probably like month 8, 9 of the game being out, like Vince and Jason were probably gone already. The whole lawsuit thing was happening. We were probably, people were probably assuming we were on Modern Warfare 3 already. So I think, and by this time we probably had added capture the flag back in. I bet you that's why we weren't hearing much of it. Paradox says, yeah, one literally said couldn't wait for the new game on Tuesday. Yeah. So I heard a few references to Modern Warfare 3 in these later ones. But you know what I think one of the latest calls in that voicemail box that I saw was like 2016. So like, I don't even know if this number is still active. I feel like if the number is still active, I need to re-promote it and we'll just use it for Dead Drop. Just the way, like, do this again in 13 more years. Or hell, we'll open it up for just public feedback for the new Modern Warfare 2. Just listen to it. I think there's something unique. Like, we're so used to getting our feedback in text form, right? Like in chat, in Discord, on Twitter, all of that. And there's something that like just is more emotional and raw and translates so much better when it's a voice, right? Like hearing someone's like emotion, whether they're angry or they're excited or they're disappointed. Like some of these people who were disappointed, like you can feel it in their voice. Like they're like legit sad that this isn't working out the way they wanted it to work out. And that is a lot, like, I'll tell you, that goes a lot more way than just seeing it written out in text of like, oh, I'm disappointed in the spawns of this map, right? Like writing it out. But when you hear it in someone's voice and you're like, you can relate to it a lot more, right? You get a lot more empathy about it. And that's, to be honest with you, that's why I set up this answering machine 13 years ago in the first place. It's because I wanted that raw connection, because that's what I was hearing every single night. Because one of the things about the early Modern Warfare era is, you know, I was at the studio all day. The team was working all day on the game. And then so many of us would go home after work and play all night. Like, that is, you would think that might be normal in the game industry, but it is not. There's so many developers that don't even play their own games. And there was something about that era that like we were working on the game and then we were going home and playing it with the community, whether they knew it or not, all night till like 3 a.m., right? And like when we were doing that, when we were most active, like being fans of our own games and playing with the community and being in those MW2 lobbies and those COD 4 lobbies and hearing the voice chat and hearing people go after each other or complaining about this or that and just giving raw feedback and not even knowing they're giving feedback, right? Like they don't know they're playing with a developer. They're just ranting and being emotional. And like, I feel like that's when you got the best feedback. That's when you got the real stuff, right? And that's what I wanted this answering machine to be. And based on all the stuff we listened to the last 2 nights, that's what we got, man. And like none of this stuff, like I don't care if you are not an articulate person or like you curse too much or the way you present your feelings is in a brash or offensive way. That's fine by me, right? Like I can filter all that stuff out. You tell it to me the realest way you know how. It's my job to filter out the emotion and to filter out like the obscenities and to just be like, okay, I understand the heart of what you're concerned about. Now let me get that back. JB Shifty says call Chester back. Man, I want to call Chester back. I was just thinking about Chester the other day, which is the ironic thing. Before I even found this answering machine, I was thinking about Chester because like, what was I thinking about? Like something got me on that story of us getting kicked out of Coney Island in Cincinnati and being banned for life. And I started thinking about that and I was like, oh my God, I wonder what Chester's up to right now. And I wonder if he's ever gone back, like if he's snuck back in. Cause I would love to hear what Chester's doing. Hopefully he's doing good. Watch Noob Tubes come back. Oh God, I don't think so, man. I think they've I mean, M203s are back, but I don't think the sort of absurdity of them will ever be back. Like, but
why did you bring Noob Tubes back? Why? I hate you. You just have to realize the game ain't buds. You should release the beta before you send the game out. It sucks now.
Feel free to use that if Noob Tubes are bad in the new Modern Warfare 2. We got to get Rob. A Static Shadow says we got to get Rob back or unbanned from the water park. Yeah, I haven't even looked. Is it still called Coney Island in Cincinnati? Like, just so anybody from the tri-state area of Indiana, Cincinnati, Kentucky, Coney Island was the water park and theme park that was like right by the Riverfront Arena, the music video. Like, it was the one that was connected to it. If anybody's from there and it's still Coney Island, if it's not under new management, please ask them to unbid me. That would be fantastic. I would love to go swim there if I ever go back to the tri-state area for whatever reason. I'm gonna export this song. Somebody find me who that caller is. I need to call him. I need to get the rights to his voice so we can put that song on Spotify. Because I want this as my ringtone. I'll export it. We can use it as our ringtone without, right? As long as we don't monetize it.
Why did you bring noob tubes back? Why? I hate you. You just have to ruin the game, aimbots. You should have released the beta before you sent the game out. It sucks now.
Let's move this. Let's play around with it. What else would this sound good with? I wonder if we did like a.
Why did you bring noob tubes?
No, it doesn't work as well. Maybe like there's like a good beat. Let's see. Let's just see. You never know.
Why did you bring noob tubes back? Why?
No, I like it. I like it as a guitar track. Like, this is perfect.
Why did you bring noob tubes back?
Perfect. Rob, you got to do something with that clip they did of you from the last stream. Which clip? Like, that's the thing. Like, it's been a whirlwind since I did that last stream, so I didn't even got to see anything. Kenny AF says, what did the hate sound like regarding the PC version of MW2 and the lack of data? Oh, man, it was loud. Our PC community back then was so vocal and so active, and so invested in everything that we were doing. And like it was a wild time for the PC back then too, because like Call of Duty was obviously, even though the franchise started on PC, like once it moved to console and the user base just exploded so much, like so much focus was on that console, right? And especially with like we had such a good relationship with Microsoft and the Xbox 360, and there was just a lot of stuff that people wanted on the PC that just wasn't a priority, right? Like things have changed so much for the franchise now, right? Like if you just look at like, you know, competitive wasn't supported in the early days, PC wasn't supported in the early days, and so much as that has changed. And like honestly, like Treyarch gets a lot of the credit for that. They had PC dev over there at Treyarch that was just such a champion for everything PC, right? PC specific features, dedicated servers, all of that. And so I really like that's one of the things that I credit Treyarch for in improving the franchise as a whole, was just how much they sort of made PC an equal prioritization to console across development. And I think people lose sight of that a lot. Oh yeah. Oh, I know what clip you're talking about. A sec. The guy that was just like gibberish. JB Hood. Did anyone ever tell you look like Robert Bowling? Yeah, I've heard it. Paradox EP says, Treyarch the goats with a lot of the improvements and leading the charge for man. Like you could not ask for a better partner with what Treyarch became. Right, like there was a lot of animosity between me and Treyarch in the early days, but most of that was political animosity, right? Like it was stuff that was being forced from the corporate side of things. Treyarch, from a development standpoint, were some of the best things to happen to the franchise as a whole, right? Like look at the entire Black Ops franchise, just fucking incredible. Look at all the stuff they did on the PC front, incredible. Look at all the stuff they did with like the Nazi zombies and zombies in general game mode, right? Like they were doing stuff in the franchise that nobody else was doing and nobody wanted to do, right? We didn't want zombies in Infinity Ward games because we felt like it was too out of the universe for what Call of Duty was meant to be. That's why we did Spec Ops, right? Spec Ops is very much in universe. And the thing is, it's not right or wrong, right? It's not like, oh, zombies are good or bad or Spec Ops is good or bad. They're both great. They're just different flavors. And I thought that was what was really interesting about the franchise as a whole, is that players got those different flavors every other year, which was really interesting. Hey, Winnie Rogue, what are your thoughts on something? I don't know what that is. Should I know what that is? Am I on the loop on something? Game over 972. What do you think about skins that are not related to the theme of the game in Call of Duty? Man, that's a debate we're having right now in the community of our own game, Dead Drop, right? And that was one of the questions that, like, when we had an application process for people who wanted to play our game early, that is literally one of the questions we asked, is how do you feel about user generated content or cosmetic skins that are outside the theme of the game, right? So if you have a realistic first person shooter, like, do you like seeing like bright pink things or like anime characters or like all that stuff? And again, it's not that any of that stuff is bad. It's like it's out of theme for the IP, but is that okay in multiplayer, right? Like that's the big question. How I feel about it is it really depends on the game. Like in Fortnite, I love all that stuff, right? And Fortnite, give me like the fun of Fortnite is seeing all the random shit together, right? Like seeing Spider-Man riding a vehicle with Batman and, an anime character. Like that's the fun of Fortnite. In Call of Duty, like I'll be honest with you, when they started introducing that stuff, like I'd cringe up, like I hated it. Um, but over time, I sort of just got used to it and accepted, like, all right, the multiplayer of Modern War or the Call of Duty games, that's just how it's going. But the thing is, the I was like I was probably the biggest purist out of anybody in terms of keeping multiplayer a sanctuary of seriousness, right? And probably too much. But I was also a big believer that I didn't believe that characters from single player should be in multiplayer, right? Because I felt like it ruined the narrative of those characters. Like I wanted things like Captain Price and Ghost and Soap and like to stay in the narrative part of the game and let multiplayer be just generic, not generic in the bad sense, but just like, like the player should be able to inhabit those characters. So I didn't like having identifiable faces and names in multiplayer and just let multiplayer characters be unique to multiplayer. Exactly. Sleeping Monkey says, I don't want to see ghosts getting teabagged and stuff. Exactly. Like that's like I thought it would be good to have like a wall between those two things, but now it's like the Wild West. Like literally anything could be a skin because the business is skins. And like because you gotta think back in COD 4 Modern Warfare 2 days, we didn't have we had DLC, but we didn't have microtransactions. There was no concept of buying these cosmetics. And I remember that moment. We were at the Infinity Ward Christmas party, And I was talking to Bobby Kotick, and he was congratulating us on the success of the game. Like, oh, the game's doing so good. It's like we have 30 million active users. It's incredible. And he said something that at the time just sent shivers down my spine, right? He's like, oh yeah, it's really great that we have 30 million people who bought the game for $60. But what would be even better is if we could get them to spend that same 30 million people to spend $60 more, right? And then or $100 more, or like whatever. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, they bought the game. Like, why would we need them to spend more money? He's like, yeah, but what if we kept adding stuff to the game that they could buy? And this was before there were a sense of microtransactions. And I remember hearing that and being like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is why you're a billionaire, man. Like, because you're constantly thinking about making money. And to me, I was young and dumb and naive, and like, I was not always thinking about making money. I was thinking about, like, I play this game every night till 3 a.m. I'm just thinking about how can I have the most fun possible. I'm not thinking about how I can make most money. And I'm like, well, that's why you're the CEO and owner of the company, because you're thinking about the business of it. And that's where the industry went, man. Like, that's as much shit as I give Bobby. That's the one thing he's incredibly good at, is making money. And you can't fault somebody if that's their goal in life and they're good at it. It's a skill, but just don't do it at the sacrifice of a good experience. JB Shifty said, when is the Midnight Society IPO? Man, we're like 10 months old. IPO would be, we have to make something of value first, right? Like, that's our goal, is to make something great. With Dead Drop, build an amazing community, build a killer game, and that takes time, right? And so our focus is 100% on just making something good, and then we can worry about what that means from a company standpoint. Johnny No Chill, thanks for joining the chat for the first time. If Modern Warfare 2 Remastered came out, would you fix everything or leave everything the same? I would have both. I think you have the raw, pure version of it. But the thing is, I don't even think you need to do that anymore, right? So in a remaster, I would probably fix everything. I would do the final patch that never got released, that addresses the major things with OMA and Commando and like everything, right? Because when this Microsoft acquisition goes through of Activision, all those games in their pure state are coming to Game Pass. And the good thing is, hopefully they can come to Game Pass in a way where they can be modded. There won't be modded lobbies. And we will all get to re-experience the beauty of Modern Warfare 2 and COD 4 in its purest state, right? With all the things you loved and all the things you hated. So I think we're going to get that from Game Pass once this acquisition is done. And then the remasters can be like the dream, right? It's like, oh, what if that final patch released? And let that be the remasters. I think that would be the perfect balance. Method says, how real is whitelisting? Like cheating streamers? Give me more clarity on what you mean by that. Hey, York in it. Good to see you. Peru Jones, is that how you pronounce that? Do you feel as though people are ready for the COD to go back to the futuristic theme? I don't know. Well, I mean, by the time we get through the reboot of Modern Warfare, maybe, right? Like, maybe everybody will get their fill of the modern and want to spice it up again. Pirates of Matches said, "Oh, great! I get to experience the MP40 spam and World at War." Stray House said, "What do you think of COD Elite?" I love COD Elite. Like, we pushed a lot for like exposing a lot of those stats and heat maps and all of that stuff, and then once they figured out like to make it a whole dedicated site and stuff, it was great because at that time our community was so active. Like, our big thing was like, we want ways for people to interact with the game, like build out their loadouts and tweak their stuff and look at heat maps and look at all that stuff when they're not playing the game, right? So you play the game at night while you're at work, you can check out all this stuff. I didn't necessarily want it to become a whole business division, which is what, like, again, Bobby is a business dude, right? So he took a really cool feature, which was meant to be free, which is just stats and heat maps and community features, and then turned into a business, started Beachhead Studios around it, hired up, hundreds of people to develop it, and like turned it into a whole business unit thing. And that's the thing that is frustrating sometimes, like, is understanding where that line is, which is what should just be a feature that enhances the experience and what should be a business. And I'm not anti-business, right? I understand, and as a studio head of a studio, I get that, like, there are things that need to be monetized, and there's things that are the business side that allow us to do all the creative stuff. But I think the leaderships of game studios specifically need to have a lot of diligence and understanding where that line is, and what should be free and what should just be about enhancing a community or enhancing an experience, and what makes sense to be a revenue stream, right? Because some things do make sense to be a revenue stream. Like, if you're creating content, you should sell that content, right? But, if it's not creating content, then maybe it should just be a feature that's included. Hey, Casper, will Modern Warfare 2 ever get remastered? Man, I have no doubts that they will do it, but I don't know, man. Like, I feel like, so you remember when we re-released the original Call of Duty on Xbox Live as part of the collector's edition? Like, that was a really cool way to sort of bring back an old game, and I think it would have been cool to do that with MW2 with a reboot, but I understand why they didn't, right? Because you never want to split the player base, especially now. Everybody's competing for the same players in the shooter genre, right? Like, to a certain degree, Apex and Modern Warfare and Battlefield and Call of Duty, everybody's competing for like the playtime that everybody has. And so why would you want to divide your Modern Warfare 2 fan base between a remaster and a new one? That'd be a hard decision to make from a business standpoint. The Vivid Kiwi says, do you know what the unattainable spinning 10th prestige emblem was originally for? Yeah, we talked about it in the last stream yesterday, actually, because a lot of the calls were about that. It was supposed to be the last thing you unlock. So, like, literally the very last weapon challenge. If you did all the other weapon challenges and had completed everything, then the last one was supposed to unlock, your 10th prestige. You've done all the challenges, and then you get the spinning 10th prestige icon. Unfortunately, it was bugged, so it was never proven if you could legitimately get it. We looked at it from a code standpoint, right? And it looked like everything was working correctly. And unfortunately, at that time, there were people who had it, but people were also modding to get it. So it was impossible to determine, like, the code looks like you could get it, but no one who actually did what they were supposed to do legitimately got it. But then all the illegitimate people had it. And none of them would admit whether they got it illegitimately or not. So it was like, it became this like impossible, like, oh, is it bugged? Is it not bugged? But people are having it and saying they got it legit, so it must not be bugged, but it clearly was bugged. Very frustrating thing. Sleepy Monkey says, what was it in Sledgehammer Games? What was it like when Sledgehammer Games... let me scroll back up. What was it like when Sledgehammer Game came on to work on Modern Warfare 3? I spoke with Glenn once, and he was a pretty cool dude. Seems like he's pretty creative. Glenn is hilarious. Glenn was awesome to work with. He's an extremely creative dude. He's a very passionate dude. It was, that was a wild time for us. But Glenn was awesome. And, he came in and brought a lot to the franchise, him and Condry and the whole Sledgehammer team. I mean, that's how I met Guy. I met Guy, Dr. Disrespect, when he was working on at Sledgehammer. So if it wasn't for Sledgehammer coming into the franchise, I would have never met Guy. We would have never become friends. We would have, the Dr. Disrespect Empire grew. We would have never gotten back together to create Midnight Society and be working on Dead Drop now. So, man, everything happens for a reason. So I think Sledgehammer was incredible and did some really cool things on the franchise. And Advanced Warfare was pretty cool. Here, do you believe skill-based matchmaking is a permanent thing within the industry, and will Midnight Society use it? Now, so if you're on Twitter, I suggest you go look at a conversation that me and Doc just had with Hutch, right? Hutch and Optic Hitch, about skill-based matchmaking. So there's a thread we had on there. If you search my Twitter replies, you'll see it. I don't think skill-based matchmaking is a permanent thing. I think it is a terrible solution that does solve a problem, but introduces a bigger problem. Because here's the thing, and here's what I talked about with Hitch and Hutch and Doc on Twitter, is that skill-based matchmaking, like the general thesis is people quit games when they get their ass stomped, right? Like that. And so a way to stop them from getting their ass stomped is to make sure that they're always playing with people who are relative skill to themselves, right? That sounds great on paper. But the thing is, what makes games fun is the roll of the dice that sometimes you're going to get your ass stomped and sometimes you're going to do the ass stomping. And that is fun, right? Because sometimes you have a blowout and sometimes you just get destroyed. And what skill-based matchmaking does is it eliminates the ability to ever have a blowout, right? So like instead of having those like random peaks and valleys, it like sort of brings everything down to the middle and like makes it more boring, in my opinion, and like exhausting. Because like I'm playing games and I'm fighting for my life every single game. Every single game is like I'm in the World Series. When do I have the fun? Right? Like every game doesn't need to be a championship game or feel like a championship game, because then I'm going to get burned out in like 3 games. So I think what they're trying to do has the right intentions. I think it's just the wrong solution. And it only really applies to games that have a singular win scenario, right? Like in a Call of Duty traditional multiplayer game, it's a win or loss, right? What team won? In Dead Drop, what we're doing, there's not a singular win scenario, right? It's not always about who got the dead drop, who was the last player alive in the match. Because you can win, there's a win scenario of extracting, right? Like if you're playing a game and you get some good loot and you just decide to extract, great, you won. You go store that loot in your inventory, you decide what you're taking back in, you jump back into another match. So we don't have the same problems that like traditional arena shooters FPS games have. So right now we're not using any skill-based matchmaking. I doubt we ever will use skill-based matchmaking because that's not a problem we're trying to solve for our game, because it's like apples to oranges. Pirates of Master said, "Did you ever watch 402 Thunder, Nero Cinema, Blame Truth?" Yeah, I watched all of them. Because I was constantly mentioned in their videos, so it always popped up in my feeds. They always tagged me, so I've seen a lot of their videos, especially 402 Thunder and Blame Truth. A lot of them. The Vivid Kiwi said, "I hate it when I slay in a game and then SBMM puts me with pros that slap my boot in the next game. It feels like I'm getting punished for." Yeah, you are getting punished for doing good. Like, man, sometimes you need that unpredictability. And a lot of that unpredictability is lost with skill-based matchmaking. Hey, Killer Carrot, first time chat. Blink Truth is brilliant. He was funny, man. He very popular back then. Maddie Kill says, "Will you stream the MW2 campaign when it comes out in October?" Yes. I want to do as many Modern Warfare 2 streams as possible. Because like I said, like I legitimately play Call of Duty. Like I play a lot of it. Just before I wasn't a streamer. It's not something that I was cared to do or figure out. But now that now that we're doing it, why not? All right, see you later, Pirates, the Master. What are we doing? We're hour 36 right now, the stream, so. Step HG says, "Those guys are kind of sad, to be honest, only feeding the toxicity." Yeah, like that was a struggle back then, right? And they crossed the line a lot of times with their like bombastic videos, and were the reason for a lot of like toxic stuff that would be sent our way. But back then, that was just it. This isn't excusing the behavior, right? I don't want to say like toxicity is bad, but like that was just the nature of the business back then. Like people were raw and brutal, and like voice chat was insane. It's chilled out a lot, right? Um, so, and I think we learned, like content creators learned that like being negative all the time isn't really the building the best audience. Um, like satire is cool, right? But being truly negative all the time is exhausting. Static Shatter says, Rob, have any callers reached out to you on stream to stream MW2 yet? I haven't seen any, but I want the guy who was in here last time, Urban Ninja Fu, who's currently #1 in the gifting leaderboards. I would love to get him going. I would love to get some of the other callers. So, like, let's keep spreading the videos and the VODs and stuff. Because I'd love to get some MW2 games going. The internet didn't have a filter back then. Now it does. Yeah, a necessary filter. Because, like, listen, I censored a lot of these calls. Like, I bleeped out offensive words. Not just to make the stream more digestible for people, but also because, like, if I shared the numbers and some of the things that some of these people said in these calls, they'd be gone today, right? Like they would be like people would find out who they were, they'd like go after them with pitchforks, and like this safe space to be real about your feedback and not trying to get anybody canceled. Which voicemail is your favorite so far? We had that one where that guy had a legitimately good idea, right? Of like giving people public forums or like giving people in a lobby the ability to vote on like, do they want kill streaks in this specific match that they're going in? Do they want that, like basically setting private match features in a public lobby? I think that was one of my favorite calls. And this one was also my favorite call.
Why did you bring noob tubes back? Why? I hate you. You just have to realize the game's aimbots. You should release the beta before you send the game out. It sucks now.
I like that one just because I could put a guitar track over it. Oh, the guy comparing me to Eminem, that was good. That guy was amazing. Also, Twitch would ban you. Man, I feel like it's only a matter of time before I get banned. Because I don't even know all the rules. I know there are a lot, and I haven't taken the time to research them. And I'm just kind of doing what I want to do. And so, like, I live in constant awareness that it's a matter of time. That'd be so, Killer Carrot said that'd be so funny. Let's see if we can find some sad violin music and try it out. What is that? No. Hmm. JCN says, I used to idolize you back in 2011 or 12 when MW3 came out and seen the graffiti on Dome. Thanks, man. Says, I agree with that, but do you feel like the industry, I don't know, do you feel like the industry is too soft and political? Has people have too much to say? Now BF 2042, for example, didn't have comms because of their fear of toxicity and the lack of score board to protect the kiddies from self-esteem. Yeah, a little bit. I feel like yeah, I feel like, people are looking for ways for reasons to be mad at each other, and that's really annoying. Like people are choosing to be offended a lot, and that's annoying. And I feel like I feel like things are shifting the other way though, where people are starting to be more like just let people be the way they want to be, right? And let's build in better filters. Um, from a game design standpoint and from a community standpoint, right? Like I think Elden Ring did a really good job of just like from a game design standpoint being like, hey, we're not going to hold your hand, we're not going to explain everything to you, and we're not going to sort of follow these rules that have been in place that like the player is dumb and doesn't understand how things work. It's like they'll figure it out if they want to figure out, right? I really appreciated that from a design standpoint for Elden Ring, and I think you can translate that over to the community side of like, hey, like give people the tools like muting entire lobbies or changing their comm settings on an individual basis without sort of neutering an entire community from that stuff. Have you ever heard of the SM2 project? Said Jugglyfur. No, I don't know what SM2 project is. Pork ID said, when we play in duos, Rob. In what? Modern Warfare 2? In Warzone 2? When it comes out. I wish the OG Modern Warfares were still active, said the W252. Dude, I think they're coming back. I think as soon as this Microsoft acquisition is done, if Sony doesn't kill it, then we're going to be seeing those back in on Xbox Game Pass. And when they do, let's stream those. Online Ken Scrub said, "Who were your best friends at IW, and who did you eat with at lunch?" Man, our lunch crew was a good one. So it was me. A lot of the time, it was me, Vince, Brian Kuhn, who was literally employee number one at Infinity Ward. He was also like the godfather of the headquarters mode. He was a best man at my wedding. But it was me, Brian Kuhn, Vince Zampella, Drew McCoy, who is now studio head of Gravity Well Games, with Slothy. He was executive producer on Apex and Titanfall, and he was at Respawn. So he went from Modern Warfare to Titanfall and Apex, and now he has his own studio with Slothy. So it was normally me, Vince, Brian, Drew, who we called Dookie, or DKO5, and whoever was in Drew's department. So Chris Lay or Mason, who came later and is amazing, and I still love Mason. Mason was at the our LA event for Dead Drop. I don't know if anybody saw him there or knew him. What did I think of Modern Warfare 1 Remastered? Thought it was cool. I didn't get a lot of time in it, though. Matty Kill says, still close to 1,000 followers on Twitch. Let's go. Are we really? It's incredible. Pork ID. So Vince Zampella got fired after Modern Warfare 2 releases. Vince Zampella, the founder of Respawn. Yes, Vince Zampella is the founder of Respawn. Now he's in charge of a lot of shit at EA now. He's Mr. Shooter. Rightfully so. He's a genius. The Sleepy Monkey says, was crunch pretty intense on the Modern Warfare games? A 1 to 2 year dev cycle, factoring in DLC rollout, sounds exhausting. It wasn't exhausting. Like, I mean, I can only speak for myself. I worked a lot during those times. But like, I was never told to work a lot. That was never part of the process. I never felt like pressured to work a lot. I worked a lot because I was young. Like, I started there when I was 19. I started on Call of Duty when I was 19. I didn't have anywhere else I wanted to be but hanging out with those guys, making games, playing games, learning about making games. And so like I was there a lot, but a lot of that time I was fucking off, right? Like I was playing the game, we're doing play tests. I was like on Family Guy, like the Family Guy team came over to the studio with me and Dookie, and we recorded that scene that was in that episode of Family Guy together. We were just having fun, man. So like I never thought of it as crunch. And I don't want that to sound like a pro crunch cult or comment, but like I didn't feel like, we weren't crunching on the game, right? Like we weren't sitting there like slaving away on something. We were there like just doing stuff that happened to do with the game. But yeah, like I worked pretty long hours during those years. How long were your vacations before you started on the next COD? We would normally so our games normally shipped at the end of the year, right? Like October, November time. And then there was like that intense moment just after they ship, right? A couple weeks after they ship, that's like pretty intense because you have, tens of millions of people playing, lots of feedback coming in that you're trying to address as quickly as possible. And then we would normally take like on a year that we shipped, we would normally take all of December off and then like the first week or so of January. So from like December through New Year's and a little past, we would normally be off. And then we would all come back fresh and try to tackle everything we could. A sleeping monkey says, I remember doing the Leo DiCaprio point when I saw you in the face. Huh! Hey! That's me. JB Shifty says, what was my MOS? I was an 11 Bravo infantryman, rifleman, in my very short time at the military, but very short lived. Like, I was not built to be a soldier, man. I was a terrible infantryman, in my opinion. I feel like everybody else in my uh, entire division was better than me. Was there any plans for DLC 3 for Modern Warfare 2? Everything in Modern Warfare, like when the studio imploded and we had like Sledgehammer came in to assist with Modern Warfare 3, and like it was a crazy time. So pretty much everything got any of those conversations halted, right? So not really. Yeah, so SM2 is essentially COD Online made by the community, built on the MW2 engine. Also, it's like a total conversion mod that fixes everything that should be fixed. That's cool. That's awesome. And that's what's great about PC communities, right? Is that they can rally around and do things like that. I really want to embrace stuff like that in our future games because I think that's incredible. Is like, hey, if the developers for whatever reason aren't able or willing to address something that the community wants, then at least don't stand in the way of the community coming in and doing something about it. I think that's a fantastic initiative. Static Shadow says, Rob, if you could work with somebody from the old IW crew that you currently don't at MS Midnight Society, who would it be? Vince. I always want to work with Vince. I love Vince. He's fantastic. But he's doing his thing and we're doing our thing, and like I don't know where those two things ever overlap or align. But there's a ton of devs currently working on Modern Warfare that I will welcome into Midnight Society with open arms at any moment that they would want to come. And they know who they are. And come March 2023, after you've shipped Modern Warfare 2, you got to wait a quarter because you got to get your bonuses from the sales. So you wait a quarter, you get your bonuses from the sale of Modern Warfare 2, and then you come work at Midnight Society. It's perfect. 12. I predict 12. I want 12 people from Infinity Ward to come to Midnight Society in March 2023. And feel free to email me and start those conversations now. There's a reason behind the fact that there aren't other games with kill streaks. Am I wrong? Is there like a legal reason? Like people can't do kill streaks? No. They wouldn't be able to call them kill streaks. Like I know that Activision did some work to protect words like kill cam and kill streak and things that they feel are proprietary to Call of Duty. I don't know how well that will hold up in court, but I know that they took some efforts to protect some of those words, but there's nothing that should stop them from using those features. But you never know, man. People will sue for the most ridiculous stuff. There's like entire companies built around like patenting completely absurd things that everybody does and then trying to sue those people for doing it, right? Like we got sued one time for someone saying like they own the patent for like 2 players on 2 separate devices connecting to each other over the internet and tried to sue us for that. It was the most absurd thing, and obviously there's no way they would win that in court, but simply by suing us, we had to go through this lengthy process of like, they have to come to the studio and look at our code and evaluate all that stuff, and it's literally pathetic. Hey, Poria Morgan. Hey, Rob, I hope you're doing well. What do you think made MW2 so special and what's lacking in today's games? That's a big question, man. I think a lot of things made Modern Warfare 2 special. It's like a lot of things. I mean, the community was 90% of it, man. People were so passionate back then. Ravage Superior said, what do I think? Oh, sorry, the last part of your question. What do you think lacking from today's games? No. And that's a very big philosophical question. I feel like it's too late for a question like that. It's 1:21 in the morning. There's a lot of stuff that I think we're trying to address in Dead Drop. And I don't want this to become a commercial for Dead Drop, but there's a lot of things that we're trying to address. A lot of it is like involving the community earlier, letting them get their feedback, opening development to the public, getting away from the marketing of games and getting back into the core community. Because I never considered community as part of marketing, right? Which is what it's become. And I see community as a core part of development. And I think that's what's missing from games, which is how you get to solving the problems that actually make games special, without identifying what those things are. Really up. I saw a question I wanted to answer. Ravage Superior says, you probably can't speak on it, but how big are those bonuses? I don't know how big they are now. I think Activision learned its lesson of paying developers fairly. And I think they've took some steps to sort of save themselves some money. So I do not know how big the bonuses are at Activision anymore. But back during my time, and all this came out in a lawsuit, so I'm not saying it might not be widely known, but it's not public information. Is like they could get up to like $2 million a person. Man, it was the Wild West back then. So if you had somebody crazy good who contributed a lot to the game, they could be making $1-2 million per shipped title, right? So you ship, and that first bonus is always the biggest. So you ship a game like Modern Warfare 2 that makes $1 billion in 13 days in sales, right? The platforms take 30% of that off the top. So Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, they're getting 30% of the sale first. Then the rest goes to Activision. And the deal that we had is a large percentage of that gets paid out to the studio, Infinity Ward, right? Like, so say, out of $1 billion, 30% is taken off the top. Then Activision recoups the cost of development. Our cost of development was $50 million. So out of that $1 billion, you lose 30%. Then you lose the $50 million that gets paid back to Activision for paying for the development of the game. And then what's left of that, like 45% is supposed to go to the studio. And then from that 45%, then it gets divided up with, not all of it, some of it's operating costs and whatever, but gets divided up between whatever your personal rev share is. And even if you have a 1% rev share of 45% of $1 billion, that's a lot of money. And that is what, that was part of the big reason that the whole implosion of Infinity Ward happened is because Bobby realized, like, oh my God, I'm paying millions and millions of dollars to the people who make this game, which you should be doing. And he tried to find a way to not pay that. And it did not work out for him. Albie says, hey, Rob, been following you, Tina, Candace on Twitter since MW2 days. Love seeing what you're doing now and hope the kids are keeping you busy too. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man. Kids keep me very busy. It's been interesting trying to, so when I said I was going to stream, the feedback I got is nobody wants to watch an old man play games, which I can respect. But I don't care. I'm going to play games, but the kids are having an interesting time. Like, I feel like my son thinks it's really cool that I'm starting to stream games because, like, that's the only thing he cares about is YouTubers. And my daughter couldn't give a shit. She's like, why are you doing this? This is a distraction. Then it says, what made certain weapons to be in game with so many to choose from? Man, that's the designer's job, is to decide, what weapons are cool. And, like, a lot of it comes down to just, like, especially with Modern Warfare, like, you're just looking at the stuff that's like a good diversity, right? You have your classes, assault rifles, SMGs, like, whatever, and you're just looking at, like, what's cool and what's interesting, what could have cool reload animations, what are the staples that people expect, right? At the era that we were in, having M16s and M4s are essential. And then when the SCAR was introduced, then it's like, oh man, it's just a badass assault rifle, right? Just a lot of improvements. There's a lot of good, like, and I use the term gun nut lovingly, right? It's not, I don't see it as a derogatory term. But you have a lot of gun nuts at the studio as well that are just passionate and, like, love, like, weapon systems and what make them, fun to have and build and maintain. Matty Kill says, are you still the stealth clown? Right? I'm always a stealth clown, man. I coined the phrase. Ravage says the SCAR in the MW2 beta was I never tried the SCAR. Man, I didn't do a good job of trying all the different weapons in the MW2 beta. I'll be honest. Like, I found one I liked and stuck with it, which was the very first assault rifle they gave you, and I did not do a good job of playing around with them. Man, Pork says the UMP-45 is my favorite gun ever. I loved the G36C. Like, I just loved it. Just the personality of it, and, like, especially with a suppressor, like, that was my favorite weapon for a long time in the game. A Sleepy Monkey says, did the studio regret killing Ghost after seeing how much people loved him? No. So the fun fact about that, and, like, I doubt it this will ever be, like, officially acknowledged, but the thing was, it's like so many people responsible for the creation and the nuance of those characters were leaving Infinity Ward at that time that generally there was a desire to close out that story and those characters so that other people who were not involved in their creation couldn't use them or exploit them in an unnecessary way. Now, obviously, that backfired because now everybody's Ghost. There's like 8,000 Ghosts. Everybody wears a Ghost mask, and they've rebooted the franchise, and all the characters are back alive. But there was a lot of emotional, political stuff that is the reason those characters died. So I don't think anybody regretted killing them. That doesn't mean we didn't love them. I love Ghost and Soap. Were you worried back in 2018 when they announced that? I wasn't worried. Like, I love the Modern Warfare franchise. I was excited to see it come back. A little, little bubbly in my tummy about it, just because, like, I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about it. I have a lot of feelings about the proper compensation of creators, right? Like, I think games need to work the same way that film works. That if there are people who create it, and I'm not talking about me, right? I'm mostly talking about a lot of the original Infinity Ward crew. If there are people who hands-on created something and that thing is making money forever, then those people should be compensated for it, right? And so the only thing I didn't like about Modern Warfare coming back was that they were going to basically be remonetizing and retreading a lot of stuff that people I know had a big hand in creating, and those people weren't going to be seeing a dime of it. And that's frustrating, but not so frustrating that it ruined my enthusiasm to see it, because I think the new Modern Warfare franchise is incredible, and I hope that the people working on it now are making a killing from it because they deserve it. Sleepy Monkey says, sorry to spam you, but what happened internally when Kotaku leaked all the MW3 shit? Yeah, it started a fire. It was insane because we didn't know how it happened. We quickly found out how it happened, and it was a very innocent mistake, which I will not name names, but he knows who he is. But it was a little bit of a panic because, like, the scariest thing about a leak is when you don't know how it leaked. Like, when you don't know where the leak is. That's the scariest part of a leak. Luckily, like, there wasn't anything that came out that was damaging or like, oh my god, we're so upset that people saw it. But, like, once we figured out how it leaked and realized that it was an innocent mistake on somebody on the team who we love and adore, then it was like, oh, it's okay. Then it just became a big hassle for me to go out there and, you know, figure out the best way to make sure nothing is spoiled for people. Ravage Superior, what are your thoughts on Respawn Entertainment? I love Respawn Entertainment. I love everybody who's at Respawn Entertainment. I was fortunate enough to, in a very, like, I want to say this in a way that, like, doesn't take credit for anything I wasn't involved with, but I got to be involved in the hoopla around Apex while I was a creative consultant at EA during that time. So I got to work very closely with the Respawn guys, and it was fantastic. That team is incredible. I didn't work on Apex, but I got to be in the sphere of Apex, and I love those guys. Timothy 1995, first time chatter, thanks. Hey Robert, greetings from Holland. I love Holland. How's life? It's fantastic. Since a lot of OG devs are returning to the MW reboot, was you also considering to go back? I was not. I don't think there's anyone at Activision who has any interest in me working on Call of Duty again. That might change with the Microsoft acquisition. That might change. There might be an interest. I'm not saying my feelings would change. I'm very happy building the next future of first-person shooters with Guy and the Midnight Society team. Matty Kill says, would you ever consider getting the old Infinity Ward back together and talk about old times on stream? Yeah, I'd be down for it if they're down for it. The problem is I don't, it would have to be people who aren't currently employed there, because obviously if you're currently employed somewhere, you're under NDA, you can't speak freely about certain things, and I'm a very big free speaker, right? So I would want, if we did that, I would want to be able to talk openly and honestly about the good things, the bad things, the fucked up things, and not feel like we have a censored, PR approved conversation, because nothing I do is generally PR approved, for better or worse. The W252 says Titanfall was the GOAT. It was, it really was. Titanfall, incredible franchise. Incredible. Online Kim Scrub says, yeah, you have no filter. That is correct. That is normally my downfall, is that I have no filter. All right, guys. We've hit the over the 2 hour mark. I'm starting to feel, it hit me. But this was great. Thanks so much for coming out, listening to these voicemails again. I will continue to go through the answering machine and see if there's any good hidden gems. I doubt there's going to be enough to justify like an hour plus call, but maybe if I find some gems, I'll find a cool way to incorporate them in future streams. I don't know if we'll have any more dedicated listening to voicemail streams. I just don't think there's going to be enough of that. But thanks everybody for coming out. If you've been having a good time, let me know. Also, give me feedback on the stream schedule. People are asking me like when I'm going to stream. People are used to having a set schedule. I don't have one yet. These late night ones work really well for me because I can put the kids to bed. I can, have time to do things. So if you have any feedback on when I should be streaming, if you're going to show up for these late night ones, I'm happy to do them. Especially when the new Modern Warfare 2 comes out, I'm probably going to be doing a lot of late night streaming of the new games. So we'll be down for that. And then also, maybe I should start treating this like I do our Midnight Society streams, where I take questions in advance so that I can answer them on streams. I don't know. I'm open to do anything. We're winging this and figuring out this whole stream thing. Whiskey G-Dub, first time chat. Isn't it incredible that the game has fans as passionate as sports fans, maybe even more so? What is the best fan reaction you've had except for Midnight Society? Best fan reaction I had? I don't know, man. I'm a big in-person dude. Right, and that's why we're doing so many in-person things with Midnight Society. Is because, like, if any of you ever went to COD XP, like, what a fucking experience, right? There's just something different. And I was always flying around the country, flying around the world, flying to Holland, flying to the Netherlands, flying to Europe, and spending like in-person time with fans at reveal events and DLC launches and all of that. So those have always been my favorite, is when I get to hang out with people in person, shake hands, have a face-to-face conversation, and really be personable. Those are always my favorite interactions, because those touch points remind us that we're all literally the same, right? Like, we are all like basically the same person. We have the same interests. We love the same things. We're passionate about the same things. And those are generally always my favorite reactions. So COD XP was one of my favorite, is just hanging out with so many people in person. Anytime I've got to travel overseas and hang out with people, I used to go to Stockholm once a year, have dinner with the Dice guys, have dinner with Notch, meet up with our fans in that region of the world. And that was always a really good time. Yeah, I wish I did COD XP too, dude. That was it was so expensive. The first COD XP cost us $10 million. No joke. $10 million. So out of our $50 million, no, we had a $100 million marketing budget that year. $10 million of it was COD XP. $1 million of it was for Kanye West to play 6 songs. Ridiculous. Yeah, but I think it was, you probably could get away with not doing it for $10 million, but I think some COD XP sort of things, like we're going to be doing COD XP style things for Midnight Society, and we're going to ramp up to them, but I'm very excited about that stuff. Our LA event was awesome. I think our next event is going to be even cooler. But I love big person events. Love them. Yeah, Tooley says, I hope you or somebody uploads these Q&A streams to YouTube. Everything that I do on Twitch will end up as an archive on YouTube. So I've got that covered. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like I'm having a hard time doing the multi-stream. Like, I drop frames and stuff, so I've just been trying to focus on streaming on one platform and then putting the VODs on another platform. But I'm still trying to figure out that whole process. If I can get Streamlabs, I have a new, like, I'm about to switch to a 2 PC setup. So, like, I'm playing on my gaming PC, and then another PC is just handling the stream. I hope once I have that set up in a couple weeks, that then I'll be able to do the multi-stream on every platform at the same time without lost frames. Because I think that's the best of both worlds. Ravage Superior says, it's probably too early, but will Dead Drop ever come to console? Yes, it will. It will 100% come to console. We just got to get through console certification. But we're already, in that process with Xbox and PlayStation. And Rob, are you saving the Q&A from Twitter and Discord as well? I don't know. I was that was an ideal of like, should I save up questions for these? Ghost619 says, "What's your tattoo on your right arm?" This arm? This arm is wait, how's this camera work? Captain America. So this entire sleeve is the story of Steve Rogers. So it's well, I don't know how to show this, but it starts with First Avenger, Winter Soldier, Civil War, and just goes through the whole story of Steve Rogers. Because as we learned in the last stream, I'm a true patriot. Am I still a stealth clown? We covered that. I am, in fact, still a stealth clown. Yeah, so this arm is all Marvel Cinematic Universe, mostly Captain America. This arm is all video game stuff, mostly Legend of Zelda. So I have Ocarina of Time stuff. The whole upper arm is the Link's Awakening with a little bit of Breath of the Wild references mixed in. And then Dead Drop is going right here. So the appointment I have now is like the Dead Drop logo. Stealth Clown tattoo? Probably not going to happen. Really big caught Easter eggs and Dead Drop. I don't know. We need to get more of those Infinity War dudes over to Midnight Society. Then maybe we can. Kush says, did the OG Modern Warfare 2 have skill-based matchmaking? So, not exactly. Matchmaking worked differently on each platform back then, because PS3 was all done through Demonware. It was custom matchmaking plans. And then on Xbox, we used something called True Skill. So there was a little... I don't think it's fair to call it skill-based matchmaking because it was very different than how it is today. But there was an element of understanding the true skill rank of players in a lobby together. All right, guys, you're distracting me. I said I was going to bed, and I need to stick to it. Thanks so much for coming by. I hope you guys will swing by. These just chatting streams are pretty fun. So let me know if you guys want more of those. I could also just play random games. That's the big thing I'm trying to figure out is like, how much interest is there me playing things that are not first person shooters? Because I play a pretty wide diversity of stuff. All that feedback's always welcomed. Thank you guys so much for coming by, and I will see you next time.